What is up, people of YouTube? This is Carter, aka Headshot from MowDownGaming here, and the Star Wars Battlefront beta, wow. It was great. I mean, obviously there's a little bit of pros and cons, but today, in the background, you're going to have some hero gameplay, some gunfights, air gameplay, AT-AT. The only thing I didn't have was AT-ST. I mean, I did have a clip of it, but it wasn't that great. So first off, I want to talk about guns. There's only 4 guns, which, I mean, it was a beta, so, I mean, that's fair enough. You know, you're not going to have a ridiculous amount of guns. You're not going to have every gun. But it's also speculated that that is the maximum amount of guns in the full game, which is kind of hard to believe, but it's very, very possible. Although, that being said, with the 4 guns, the gun balance was pretty good. You know, you didn't really have any guns that were completely dominant. They all did their job, and they did their job with their purpose. So there was that submachine gun, the handheld gun. I can't remember the name, and that was pretty good for close quarters. I feel like it could have been buffed a bit, because I know when I was playing Drop Zone, it was a little bit under power, or wasn't very powerful at close range. But it wasn't that bad. And then the AC or AC-280, something like that, and the E11, those were very good assault rifles. They were both pretty balanced. And then the DT-19 or whatever. I never got a chance to use that, but it was, I saw a lot of people using it, so I would assume it was fairly good. It was fairly dominant. I know somehow it could just snipe you out of nowhere, which was crazy. But the lethals and like hands and everything, now these were my favorite. Later on in the beta, I know I was streaming, and I would literally just use the cycler rifle, get somebody weak from far, from the side or whatever, and then just switch back to my E11 and pick them off. It was a great system. I love how they regenerate after a little while. It really makes it, you know, refreshing instead of just being able to have, you know, 1 grenade per life or 1 special per life. You know, it's a little bit better because with the maps being so big, that's kind of what you need. The grenades were good. I really only used the thermal grenade, and I used the ion grenade once. It was obviously better on vehicles, which is good. It did its purpose, but, you know, I'm just not that type of player to do it. And there we go, right? You know, you just have saw grenade kill right there. And then the ion shot, I only used it for about 2 matches, and I did notice a difference. It does do a little bit more damage to vehicles, which is good. Now, power-ups and vehicles, these were awesome. I loved how they had them scattered all over the map, you know, generally in a place that you would be able to, you know, they weren't completely random. Obviously, they're in specific places. So, you know at least where to go generally to get them. And right here, I think this is the interceptor gameplay. And now, flying in this game is fun. It's really smooth. You know, the only thing I really had to get used to at the beginning was I kept thinking lock-on was left trigger, or left bumper, but it was left trigger. So that took me a little while to get used to. I don't know why I didn't just look at the screen more, but no matter. The AT-AT and the AT-ST were amazing. Like, when you get in that AT-AT, dude, you feel invincible. It's great. It's super fun, and you know that you're, like, the center of attention. So I think they did a really good job with that, and especially because you can't just spam it and use it all the time, which is good. You know, you don't want a powerful thing in the hands of the players constantly. Now, Drop Zone. This is obviously Walker Assault. I don't have any Drop Zone gameplay. But what I can say, it was pretty fun, but I find without a jetpack, it's really hard to play Drop Zone and get to the Drop Zone in time. But then again, you know, I switched out my grenade for the jetpack anyways. And right here you see a 5 kill streak. It's pretty good. But I find the jetpacks kind of needed for this game just because of how big the maps are. But other than that, Drop Zone was great. Close quarters, it really mixed up the gunfights. I find on Walker Assault, that you tend to have the same gunfight in the same area all the time. And the maps were also pretty one-sided. But other than that, the game was great. Like, it had great gameplay, you know, it's super smooth. The only thing I would really hope for in the full game is that the maps, you know, you're not just forced to have the same gunfight in the same place all the time. Like, that right side that it was just at, that's basically where all the gunfights are had. Although, however, the bunker provides really good infiltration for the, not Imperial side, but the good guy side. I can't remember the names of the sides, okay? I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I've seen all the movies, and, you know, I know the general gist of it. But yeah, again, with that said, the bunker is also super one-sided, because if you get them spawn-trapped in there, they're screwed. Like, when you're on Imperial, you basically win. Like, it's so dumb. I've seen a guy drop 98 and 5 on, like, just doing that, and he was in the AT constantly. I mean, it was crazy to see, but I can imagine for the other team it's pretty frustrating. And I've myself has been spawn trapped with AT-ATs and AT-STs and infantry turrets, and it's really annoying. That they could probably fix, you know, with spawn systems, but it's a beta, so no big deal. But for my overall opinion, it was super immersive. Like, you know, you really get into the game. You feel like, you know, you're in this, like, you know, team mentality, this war mentality. It was great. The graphics are amazing. So in total, I would give it probably an 8 out of 10. And that's not to say it was bad, but, you know, there's obviously a few things to work out. But the full game is going to look sick. That is the end of the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Click on the video on the screen if you missed the last one. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good day.